kind of cute. Let's see. A professional, this is called the driving test. A professional juggler driving to his next performance is stopped by the police. What are you doing with those matches and lighter fluid in your car, says the police officer. I'm a juggler and I juggle torches in my act. Oh yeah? Let's see you do it, says the officer. So the juggler gets out and starts juggling the blazing torches masterfully. A couple driving by slows down to watch. Wow, says the driver to his wife, I'm glad I quit drinking. Look at the test they're giving now. That was clean, that was good, yeah? Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Very
okay.
sweet.
Very sweet, and oh my goodness, this thing is, there we go. I don't know why it's doing that, but it is. Well, I'll figure it out in a sec. Anyway, so my talk title is Higher View, and I actually, that's what I'm trying to get this off of here. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so higher grounds. Does everybody know who Rick Warren is?
Yes.
Okay. I love Rick Warren. Okay. Rick Warren is they call him pastors in that Christian church of Saddleback Church down in Orange County. And one of the things that he did, I don't know if you've ever read any of his books, but I read his books because they're also business books. And he explained how he created his church and how he was able to move it forward. So anyway, I found a great little blog from him because he always has beautiful advice. But I want to give a little backstory with Rick Warren. If you haven't read his book, and it's in my office, I can't remember the name of it, but he actually created, Purpose-Driven Life. But he was talking about in one of his books how he created that church and how he came from, I don't even know where. He came from another area, and he decided that he wanted to start Saddleback Church. And so what he did, he started going door to door and knocking on the doors and talking to people. That's how he started his church. You believe that? So he kept going on and he kept doing that and inviting people to come. But the other thing that he did was that he asked the people in his church to step up and to be in the congregation and to be a part of it. Rather than just showing up, he wanted them to also be part of it. So anyway, one of the things about Rick Warren, and he was also one of the pastors on, where did you guys see him? President Obama's inauguration. Did you know that? Yeah. So he was one of the ones that went and talked. Okay, so here's from Rick Warren, and we're going to talk about a few of these things, and I'm going to tell you a few stories too. Take the higher ground for a clear perspective. So he said, we called this, there was a training we took, and the individuals that are difficult in their lives, we call them extra grace required. Anybody have any extra grace required people in your life?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right, so we all have them. I think it's part of the human condition. So he says, here's the quote from the Bible, ask God to bless those who persecute you. Like that, Denise?
Yeah.
Ask him to bless, not to curse. Okay, so the acronym for extra grace required is EGRs. They annoy us, anger us, frustrate us, and test us. And as Brian said, they're there to help us develop ourselves even more. So he said, I'm giving you the 5 steps. I always like this. You like 5 steps? You gonna remember these? Okay. In dealing with EGRs, extra grace required people. Number 1, take a look at their behavior. Huh?
I'm just
Yeah, just write,
making
okay.
notes.
Number 1, take a look at their behavior. And what I think he means by that is that if you take a look at their behavior, just don't get caught up in their behavior, because some people emote, and they just emote, and it's like, I think Barbara said, you just have to let them go, blah, 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 and go crazy, and then just get quiet, because typically what will happen, they'll kind of let it go. I had an individual that was texting me some really nasty stuff, and you're horrible, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And that's the other thing. So you have to go, this is fascinating. Where the heck is that person coming from? So I'm looking at the behavior, and I'm realizing, because I know this person fairly well, and I realized that that individual probably did not get what they need, their needs met when they were children. They didn't get hugged, they didn't get the nurturing, they didn't get told, you know, hey, you're a fabulous guy or girl, you know, because when that individual was a child, so now they emote and they go off and they spew on other people. Now here's what's interesting. I was noticing the behavior, and then I said something like, after this diatribe from this other person, I said, thank you for sharing. I can't believe you said that to me. Then they got even more mad, right? I can't believe you said that to me. And they're going crazy. And I thought, wow. So I said, I understand. And I just kept saying these calm one-liners. Have you ever done that with somebody who's kind of in their raging mode? And what happens is that they want you to engage with them, right? And they want you to fight with them. I refuse to fight. And after 5 or 6 passes at me, he finally stopped. It was fascinating. But it's interesting to watch the behavior. So then when he says, look at their behavior, be present to it, and don't take it personally. Can you not take it personally? That's most of it, because it's not about you, it's about the stuff that they're going through in their life. And that's really what it is. So when you have somebody who is acting out or having an issue, and maybe, I don't know, you know, there was a story, and I think this was in Chicken Soup for the Soul, and there was a story about a man who was on the subway, and he had a couple of children, and the children are going wild, and they're running around, and he just couldn't do anything with the kids. And the person was saying, why can't you manage your children? What's wrong with you? He says, I'm so sorry. My wife died a week ago. And I'm having a hard time with this. So when we say, look at the behavior, look at what's underneath, and try to have a little bit of compassion. Another gal that I worked with, this is years ago when I was in the insurance business, and she was the office manager. And Fernie, her name was Fern, and I know, right?
That was my mother's name.
Really? Okay. But she hated me. And sometimes people just don't like you. Just because, I don't know, they just don't like you. And so I thought, you know, I'm just going to pray, and I'm going to surrender this up. And I'm driving, and I'm praying, and I think at that time, going to Agape and getting my practitioner training. So I'm praying and praying. I'm surrendering up. I'm going to surrender up. So I got a message to go talk to her. Now she had these little toys on her desk, because you all know I love toys, right? So little singing toys and things. And so I started saying, oh, that's so cute. Where'd you get that? And then I started asking her about her life and about her dogs. And then pretty soon, what ended up happening, she didn't hate me anymore. Because I go to her desk, first thing I got in the morning, we'd play that little musical toy and dance together. Now this is going from somebody who absolutely was snarky and mean and nasty to me, to plain and became my best advocate. Because what happens if we're able to have that person and become friends with that person, down the line, it's going to help you. It really will. So you don't want to cross and burn any bridges, because you never know. And that's the same individual that helped me at the end of that employment, guide me to where I needed to go, and she helped me out immensely. Have any of you seen the God Friended Me? Have you seen that?
I love it.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so God Friended Me, this guy, imagine you're getting a text. God wants you to become friends with Susie Smith or whatever. And what ends up happening is that then the individual who gets the text, they go and seek them out and help them. They start researching where they are and they help them. And it's this great story, so please watch it, because it's really uplifting, and it's a fabulous, fabulous show.
Is it a movie or TV?
It's a TV show. It's on what channel, guys, up here?
Shoot, I don't know.
One of the
I
main
don't know,
ones.
NBC, ABC,
CBS, I don't know.
CBS, whatever. Any one of those S's. Anyway, so it's on, and it's really inspiring and great, because think about, okay, God just friended me that extra grace required name. What am I supposed to do with that person now? All right. So I have another story where this happened here, and this was an individual, and we had huge, I don't know, we had probably like 75 people at service, and we had a great service. It was like, yeah, off the roof. And I walked over to the door, and just to greet everybody, and that individual started screaming at me because of, I don't know what, it was their stuff. And in that moment, I realized that that person couldn't handle the energy of what we had created in here. So I didn't take it personally, because I can't. And I just said, you know, I'm sorry you feel like that. But what ended up happening from not engaging and not, what's the word? From not getting in a fight with that person also became my best advocate. And when that person, they moved away a long time ago, and I think they made their transition, by the way. But when they moved away, before they moved away, that individual would come up to me every Sunday and acknowledge me for something I said during my talk. So there it went from somebody screaming at me, I hate you, blah, 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 to, gosh, you're so fabulous. Because what is that? That's the power of love. It really is. And like what you said, the power of love. Put that love hat on. And then, here's the second. Number 2. You ready for number 2? Refuse to be offended. Instead, use my favorite one. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating? I wonder what's going on with that person. And a lot of times what I'll do, I ask somebody, I said, are you okay? What's going on in your life? What's happening? And then all of a sudden they'll start telling you, gee, I'm going through this problem with my relationship. Gee, I'm losing my house. Gee, I'm blah, blah, blah. And then you're that opportunity in a place of listening for them, because that's what they really need. And they're pushing something out on you, but they really need some assistance and support. Okay? And then cut them some slack. I like that, Rick. Cut them some slack.
Is that
right?
number 3?
That's number 3. Cut them some slack. Because you have to understand, we're all human. Anybody ever have a bad day? Yeah, right? And you're just like, don't talk to me. You know, and we can't always go hang and put our head under the covers at home. Sometimes we have to be out in the world and we have to take care of business, don't we? So, cut them some slack. And then, oh, this one's a hard one. Number 4. Can you guys do this? Refuse to gossip about them. Oh, yeah, John was such a I know, right? Number 4, that's the high ground. Refuse to gossip about him. And what I've learned over the last years that I've been here, I have to keep my mouth shut, okay? I can't talk to this one about that one, or because we're all here. This is all family. Do not talk about your sister or brother, and that's really it, because we're all here, and we got to be careful. And I've just learned to zip my lip, and it's hard. Yes, you're right. It is. I'm not saying a word, and I'll go talk to Art. He's not in this family. It's okay. And then when he gets bored, you know, I just talk to my cats. What can I say? You know, it's like I got to talk to somebody, right? But I can't talk to the individuals here because I'm the rev, so it's not going to work. So is that a good one?
Plants are good.
Yeah, plants. Plants are good. Don't yell at them. Okay, number 5. Refuse to play their game. I talked about that actually originally. So when they're trying to engage you and they're trying to fight, and it's old behavior, and sometimes we have patterns with people, don't we? It's like, it was interesting, you know, I was up and seeing my mom, and she goes off about something she's seen on the news, and I just listen. I don't want to engage with her about whatever it is she's going wacky about, because it was just negative energy anyway. So I just say, that's great, okay, can you do anything about that right now? No, and I said, maybe change the subject. Is that okay with you? Yes. Yeah, let's change the channel, because I really don't want to deal with this, okay? Okay, so now you've heard from Rick Warren. The higher ground gives you clear perspective. When you take the high ground, you can see past that person's behavior to their pain. When you take the high ground, you rise above the irritation of the conflict and choose to live in peace. Well, that's a good affirmation. Just say peace, love and peace, love and peace, love and peace. You might be completely within your rights to retaliate, but take the higher ground. Okay, so he's talking more about the Bible here. But he says, just take the higher ground. God empowers us to love even those we find hard to love. And I think it was you, Diana. So God empowers us to love even those we find hard to love. So that would be a great affirmation. God, empower me or give me your love by means of me in order to deal with this individual. Okay, so I'm going to move on to another wise person. And this is the book that popped out at me a couple days ago. Open Your Mind to Receive. And Catherine Ponder was I believe she was a Unity minister. And she wrote a lot of books about abundance. Have you ever, remember Catherine? No?
Yeah.
She's an old-time author, so if you ever get a chance, grab one of her books. I don't know if we have any more in the bookstore, but she's great. So here we go. Here's some things about difficult people, okay? And I'm just going to read some of these things. This is from her, the author. I once found myself surrounded by incongenial people with whom, that's a good word. Do you ever use that in your day-to-day language? Incongenial. You're an incongenial person. And they'll go, what? Are you insulting me? For whom I had nothing in common. Nothing worked to free me from these people as long as I condemned them. Aha, there we go with the criticism or the gossip. My criticism bound me even more strongly to them. Do you get this? So the more you criticize and talk about them, what's going to happen to you? The energy is going to expand and you're going to have more of that in your life. But the moment I began to bless them as part of my good, they responded. Kind of like my dear Fernie in the office. I was soon freed from the set of circumstances through the offer of another job and through a natural outworking of events. But no new doors opened to me until I began to bless instead of criticize those who had concerned me. Do you love that? So it's really about any circumstance, and I call it surrender. You can say, what does she say? She's saying, she's saying bless it. But here's one of the stories I wanted to read. Because most people, they resist and fight. And here's a story that she's talked about. Too many of us spend time resisting, resenting, and mentally fighting the people in our world. And those people would leave our world quickly if we would only speak the word of release for them. So she's saying, speak a word of release. Okay? I call it surrender. We could call it a word of release. An effective release statement in this: God brings into my life the right people who can help me and make me happy, and whom I can help and make happy. Those people who are no longer for my highest good now fade out of my life and find their good elsewhere. I bless them on their way. So here's the story. I like this. A housewife was desperately unhappy in her marriage, but felt bound to it because of her 6 children. Okay? When she learned the power there is to speaking the word of release for inharmonious relationships, she decided to try it. She daily declared, my life cannot be limited. Christ in me now frees me from all limitation. You don't have to say the word Christ if you have issues with that. Say Spirit. I am unfettered and unbound. I am in true relationship with all people in all situations now. Although daily use of these statements gave her a sense of hope, they did not free her from her unhappy marriage. Even when her relationship with her husband began becoming more harmonious, she continued to feel the marriage had run its course. When she learned that there is power in speaking words that will free the people in your life, she learned that as you free them, those that should remain in your life will do so. You write this down, Diana. Those that should clear out of your life will do so in peace. So she began to say these definite release statements every day. I now release and am released from everything and everybody that is no longer a part of the divine plan of my life. Woo! Is that good? Okay? Everything and everybody that is so no longer a part of the divine plan of my life now releases me and finds his good, she's talking about her husband, elsewhere. I now expand quickly into the divine plan of my life where all conditions are permanently perfect. Her husband soon agreed to a divorce. You definitely want to write this down. You got somebody in your family? You want to release them out? Write this down, Denise. Okay? The divorce action took place so quickly and quietly that few people knew anything about it. Upon its completion, she took her 6 children home to visit her parents in another state. On that visit, she met a fine man whom she soon married. As for her 6 children, her new husband was glad to have them on his ranch, I bet. 6 ranch hands, where they proved to be a blessing in many ways. This expanded new life worked out happily for everyone involved, but none of it came about until this previously unhappy housewife had spoken words that released the inharmonious relationships in her life. Do you like that? I've got to print that out. We're going to send that out to you guys because I think it's good. Okay, then one last story. Release the people you love too. I may not be the person you dislike, but the ones you love the most who cause your people problems. Anybody have people in your family? Though their love for you and their emotional ties to you, there sometimes exists a sense of possessiveness of being dominated and not being free, which can raise people and cause people problems. Inharmonious family relationships often reflect this. When you feel bound by the people you love, this is a time to declare, my life cannot be limited. Spirit in me now frees me from all limitations. I am unfettered and unbound. Unfettered, that's another new word. Would you ever walk around saying unfettered? That's a good one. You can experience freedom with the people you love by declaring often, I love all people and all people love me without attachment. That's a good one, right? People who have attached themselves to you unduly will find other interests and will move out of your life naturally. Your relationship with them will become more balanced and freer so that you can enjoy it.
Wait, what was the affirmation?
Okay, I know, right? This is good for all of us. I mean, I would say this to everybody in my life because you want the relationship in your family, with your coworkers to feel good. I love all people. Okay, you want to write it down? I love all people, and all people love me without attachment. Isn't that great? So that's going to bring that relationship into equanimity, isn't it? It really is. Okay, and then she goes on, but she's talking about freeing yourself from the opinions of others. So let's find the affirmation from that. Okay, so really that's pretty much it. So it's releasing yourself and allowing yourself to surrender, and then as you do that, you're able to release things in your life, yeah? So let's hold that for ourselves, because the highest spiritual practice that we can do is to be present in the moment. It's to not get attached or not take offense to the individuals that are in front of us. And what I've realized over the past 10 or 11 years that I've been here, there was a guy that used to come here, and we did classes with him. His name was Jim Drever. And Jim Drever used to say to me, you know, Reverend Maryum, one of these days, if you keep practicing the presence, if you keep practicing just being okay and finding the peace and the love and the harmony, things will just not bother you anymore. And it's just going to go past you. You're going to be present with them. And it brings us a sense of peace. It brings us a sense of oneness, because we talk about we want to become one with God. If we can let go of all of the emotional stuff that we have, then we're able to connect in with Source and with Spirit. And that's really what it's about, isn't it? So it's when we meditate. And I'm going to tell you, the highest practice is to be with a difficult person. Oh, that's all right, baby. We love you. And it's to be with a difficult person and just to be present with them. You want to go practice that this week? Anybody got a person you want to practice with?
I've had a lot of opportunities.
Oh, there you go. I like it. Okay, so we all
Be
have,
careful what you ask for.
I know, we all have opportunities, don't we? So let's see, does she have a good little, we got a little bit power of release. I want to see if she has a good little affirmation. But let's see. I like some of the ones that she said. Let me see if she's got a good one in here. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. Spirit in me now frees me from all resentment or attachment toward or from people, places or things of the past or present. This is talking about oneness. I manifest my true place with the true people, with the true prosperity now. You want to repeat that one after me? We're going to close with that one because I think it's good. It encompasses everything. Okay. Spirit in me now.
Spirit in me now.
Frees me from all resentment or attachment. Frees me from all resentment or attachment toward or from people. Toward or from people. Places or things of the past or present. Places or things from the past or present. I manifest my true place. I manifest my true place with the true people. With the true people. And with the true prosperity now. And with the true prosperity now. And so it is. So with that, go out, gather those opportunities up, because as you do that, that's the blessing. It creates you to become more expanded, to create oneness in your life, and that's really the work. We have this world and this realm to deal with. You're not going to get it sitting at home on your couch, eye-gazing with your cat. I've tried it. But you will feel better, and you're going to come into a place of, I'm just going to say, a place of peace. And there's a calm that comes over us when nobody can bother you, and nobody can shake you. And that's really it. So, beloveds, go enjoy your opportunities, and thank you for being here.